good process, okay? And if you'd have told me, let's see, we picked him on Saturday, right? Friday night driving home, y'all are going to pick Shedeur, I would say that's not happening. But we had a conversation early that morning, and then we had a conversation later that day. I think we had the right people involved in the conversation. At the end of the day,
But by Saturday, the conversation shifted. The right people were in the room, and suddenly, Andrew Berry, the Browns GM, pulled the trigger. Only here's the twist. The owner, Jimmy Haslam, made it very clear it wasn't his call. He practically shrugged it off like he was choosing brunch instead of a franchise quarterback.
We have been through so much as a family, as athletes, that he is prepared for everything. The only thing that really hurt me, when they started the line and saying he wasn't prepared or he was this or he came in with headphones on. I know my sheep. I know my son. I know what I raised. I know better than that. Shedeur ain't never did nothing stupid like that. Ain't never been nowhere unprepared, ill-prepared.
Think about that. You draft the most NFL-ready quarterback in the room, and the very next thing your owner does is distance himself from it, throwing his GM under the bus in front of the whole league. That's not just a snub. That's sabotage disguised as diplomacy. What happens when a bombshell like that drops? Deion Sanders doesn't whisper. He doesn't simmer. He claps back so loud the Wi-Fi in Cleveland cuts out. And when Shedeur's name gets played with, primetime turns gladiator mode.
It was one of those nights. And I mean, shoot, that's what we expect. He's so darn good that we don't give him the credit that he deserves for some of the things that he does.
Coach, he started 15-15 school record.
Wow. See, you don't even know that stuff because you're into the game and you're coaching. You don't even think about that kind of stuff. I think he did that one time in Jackson, that he was phenomenal like that. But wow. And they don't even mention him for the Haslam. He's not even mentioned. Oh my.
And this time, he wasn't just defending his son, he was exposing a deeper problem the NFL has never figured out. The Browns owner didn't just talk, he lit a fire under one of the most outspoken, unstoppable football fathers in history. And now the whole league is watching the sparks fly. The real sting wasn't in what Haslam said, it was in what he implied. That Shedeur wasn't the guy. That maybe, just maybe, he wasn't ready. That other quarterbacks deserved the reps, the spotlight, the nod. But we've seen this before. The NFL has a long history of looking straight at talent and pretending not to see it if it doesn't fit their cookie-cutter quarterback mold.
But I see Shiloh and Shedeur more than I've ever seen any undrafted guy or fifth-round guy on social media in the history of Instagram, Threads, Twitter, X, whatever it is. Like, those dudes are everywhere. And they caught some of Deion's strays, right? Deion had a level of greatness that was untouchable, right? Deion could say, yeah, I'm not interviewing with these people because I'm not gonna be there in the draft. Deion could say, hey, I already ran 140. I ain't effing with no more of this testing because y'all already know I'm top 5 and it ain't tripping. Watch it.
Fans didn't miss it either. Social media went nuclear the second those comments surfaced. Why would an owner undermine his own rookie quarterback before training camp even gets rolling? What kind of confidence is that supposed to build? And Shedeur? He's too locked in to crumble, but the message was clear. Cleveland wasn't going to hand him anything. He'd have to take it. Meanwhile, Deion was sharpening his words like blades. He made it clear his son wasn't just another rookie in line for scraps. This was a quarterback raised for the moment, groomed in pressure, polished in adversity. And yet, the Browns treat him like a temp worker passing out Gatorade bottles. That's not just disrespect, that's dysfunction. This is the same franchise that treats quarterbacks like Halloween costumes. Wear them once, throw them away, hope the next one magically fits better. They've been recycling QBs for decades, each one sold as the new guy, each one flaming out faster than the last. And now, when Shedeur walks in with poise, precision, and fire, what does Cleveland do? They hide him on the depth chart like he's a secret they're embarrassed to admit. Fans noticed instantly. Clips of practice went viral. Shedeur throwing lasers, commanding the huddle, reading defenses like a 10-year vet, while the other guys tossing ducks into the dirt. And yet, somehow, Shedeur isn't getting the nod. It's the football version of watching Gordon Ramsay cook a steak to perfection while being told to take notes from a guy burning ramen noodles. It's laughable. And then came the father. Deion Sanders didn't tiptoe around the insult. He didn't wrap it in polite corporate PR. He clapped back directly, reminding the NFL and everyone in Cleveland exactly who Shedeur is. And more importantly, exactly who raised him. Deion didn't just say his son was ready. He said his son was born for this. He didn't talk about potential. He talked about preparation, about instincts, about resilience, about a kid who's faced more spotlight and more pressure before 22 than most quarterbacks will face in a career. And let's be honest, Deion isn't just a dad defending his son. He's a Hall of Famer with receipts, with credibility, with a track record of turning doubters into believers. And when he speaks, people listen, whether they like it or not. Cleveland might want to pretend this is just another rookie controversy, but Deion flipped the script. He made it bigger than football. This wasn't just about Shedeur being overlooked. It was about a league still uncomfortable with quarterbacks who show swagger, confidence, and personality. The NFL has always had a type, and Shedeur doesn't fit the box they built. He doesn't apologize for who he is. He doesn't dim his light, and that scares the gatekeepers more than anything. Deion knows it. He lived it. And now he's making sure his son doesn't just survive it. He's making sure his son rewrites the ending. Deion's response wasn't just about defending Shedeur's name. It was a cultural commentary on the NFL's broken lens. Think about Lamar Jackson, who had to win an MVP before people stopped asking if he should switch positions. Cam Newton, who got criticized more for his outfits than his game. Jalen Hurts, who had to drag his team to a Super Bowl before people admitted he could throw from the pocket. And now Shedeur, standing in the same spotlight, sharper and hungrier, but still being told to wait his turn behind guys who couldn't outplay him in a backyard scrimmage. This isn't just football politics. This is generational resistance to quarterbacks who refuse to shrink themselves to fit the mold. Cleveland isn't blind. They see Shedeur's talent. They see his command. They just don't know how to handle it. Because swagger can't be coached. Swagger can't be controlled. And in the NFL, when they can't control you, they get scared. Jimmy Haslam tried to play it safe, distancing himself from the pick. But what he really did was light a fuse under the Sanders family. Deion's not just some parent ranting in the stands. He's primetime, a Hall of Famer who's already proven doubters wrong as a player and now as a coach. Remember when they laughed at him for taking over Colorado? Said he was flashy, too loud, not serious. Then he flipped the program overnight, turned nobodies into national headlines, and made believers out of people who swore he'd fail. Now he's watching Cleveland try the same old routine with Shedeur, and he's not letting it slide. The Browns don't realize what they've stepped into. They think this is about one rookie quarterback fighting for reps. It's not. It's about family, about legacy, about a father protecting his son while exposing the cracks in the system. Deion doesn't just see Shedeur as a quarterback, he sees him as a test case. Proof that the NFL still doesn't know how to handle a quarterback who dares to be different. And Cleveland, they're playing with fire by trying to keep him in the shadows. Look around the league. How many teams are desperate for a quarterback who can lead, command, and execute under pressure? Atlanta would snatch him in a heartbeat. Half the league would. And yet, Cleveland sits on their hands, pretending they've got time to figure it out, pretending Shedeur hasn't already shown he belongs. That's not just short-sighted. That's self-sabotage. And fans see it. Every rep, every practice, every preseason clip, it's all out there. Shedeur is balling. He's precise, confident, surgical. He looks like he's been in the league for a decade. Meanwhile, the Browns act like giving him second-team reps would break tradition. Maybe it would. Maybe that's exactly what needs to happen. Because tradition is what's kept Cleveland stuck in the same loop of quarterback misery for decades. And now the Browns are doing what they do best, ignoring the obvious, hoping the problem magically fixes itself, while a future star gets treated like an afterthought. Deion's had enough. His clapback wasn't just for Cleveland. It was a warning shot for the whole NFL. Stop underestimating quarterbacks like Shedeur, or get ready to watch them torch you from another sideline. He's not begging for recognition. He's taking it. He's not waiting for approval. He's proving it on the field every single day. And Cleveland, whether they admit it or not, knows exactly what they've got. They're just too stuck in their old ways to embrace it. That's why this moment matters. Because it's bigger than Shedeur. It's about what happens when you underestimate the wrong player, when you try to box in someone who was built to break out. Cleveland has a choice. Double down on dysfunction or step into the future. And if they don't, they'll be the ones left explaining why the quarterback they buried on the depth chart came back to light them up wearing another jersey. Picture it. A Sunday afternoon, a different team across the field, Shedeur under center, carving up the Browns defense like it's backyard practice. Deion in the luxury box, sunglasses off, smiling like a man who already told you how this story would end. That's not fantasy. That's a warning. Because Shedeur Sanders isn't just another prospect. He's a statement. He's a reminder that talent doesn't wait for permission. And no matter how much the gatekeepers try to stall him, his time is coming. The only question is whether Cleveland will be smart enough to realize it before it's too late. Until then, Shedeur's grinding. He's sharpening every read, every throw, every moment of poise in the pocket. He's letting the noise fuel him, letting the disrespect push him. And in the background, Deion's voice echoes, calm but deadly serious. Y'all done messed up.